Hello, once again, I want to make a video. Just came to. Every time I get on video, I don't want to go back. I want to get back. Well, I've been hearing quite a few people use this terminology. Black supremacy, black supremacy, black extremism. My question is, I'm not teaching black supremacy. I'm not extremism. What is black supremacy, black extremism? I mean, if you look at the history of this country, black people can't hold back no group of people in this country. Black people don't have the wealth in this country to make judgmental on what certain neighborhoods they can live in. Black people don't have things in laws that make other groups subjected to them. Just because a black person can be on the bench don't mean that they're black supremacists. Just because a black person is a politician, most likely he won't be a black supremacist. When I hear terminology like that, it makes me wonder. It's like, why do people use that terminology? Because when one start identifying themselves by the Word of God, and based on the Word of God, they start identifying who they have some self-esteem. They have a self-will, pride about themselves, and they choose to separate themselves. And they choose to want to have their own, be around their own people. That's the black supremacist. And be wary of people that even look like you, to people that don't look like you, to people that look like you. Is that a black supremacist? When the truth about the pigment when it comes to the Bible, that we didn't put it in there to say that white skin was a curse. We didn't do that. The Most High God didn't assign that. Black people, I never know one black to have some black people beat up somebody of a different race. Yeah. Maybe it was just not because, most likely it wasn't because they were white or they were other. They beat them up because they just, they find something in their personality. They beat them up because the demographic of the neighborhood, and if that same black person would have jumped on them, they would have jumped on another black person that was subjugated them. So black people can never be black supremacists. When we own Wing University, they don't teach black supremacy in there. Even black Pan-Africanism don't even teach black supremacy. Teach self-preservation, but don't talk about we got to watch out for these other people and da. And I never heard of any group that I know about saying that let's go out and target a certain demographic of other people that's non-black to white. And it's funny that how some black people, along with some other people, they pick up their slave master mindset. And it's like, black supremacists? Black extremists? Because you want some justice for someone that look like you? You're a black extremist? You're a black supremacist? You choose to separate yourself, but why is it that when you go a majority of, even though every community has their own community, every community got their own community. If you go into different parts of Michigan and New York, you have Middle Eastern people that have their own community. They practice their own nationality. They practice business. They do business with other people. than their white counterparts. But majority of the people, they deal with people that they feel comfortable, that look like them. And even if they can talk in their own language. That's true. You go to an Asian community, East Indian community, are they extremists for practicing and want to be around each other? Most Latinos feel comfortable around other Latinos. And I know this from personal experience. Because they just feel comfortable with anybody that speak their language, because they sometimes English is their second language. Most people from different parts of the world, English is their second language. And when their parents get here, then their kids are raised up learning English first. Then they speak. Their parents teach them how to speak. They're able to communicate because their mama and their dad taught them whatever language that they speak around the world. Russian people stick with Russian. Ukrainian people stick with Ukrainian people. And they do group economic between each other. The people who are by faith, by religion, Jewish people, do their own thing. But why? But my question: that's extremism? When they want to do something on their own? Do any of these groups practice extreme supremacy on their own? Ask yourself that. Why do people say that when it comes to black people, you're practicing black supremacy? How do you practice black supremacy when black people don't own, technically don't even own the black colleges? Technically don't own it, but even if they did own a school at black college, they won't practice black supremacy. Even if they own a business, they won't practice black supremacy. Black segregation. So when you see people that have the red, green, and black, they just like anybody else. They're proud of themselves, and they want to be among. And most of them choose to want to be among them, just like all these other groups of people I just mentioned. Why is it that? And I'm just curious. Why is this just came to me? Black supremacy, extremism. When the last time you seen a group of black people make bombs, storm the Capitol, blow up hospitals, send arsons to the mail at other people? Now, have you had some individuals that try to be like the DC sniper? Yeah, but he targeted black people too. It was an individual thing. But his views came out as an individual, not as a collective. Supremacy in nationalism comes as a collective. And sometimes you don't even know the people that the supremacy is the ones who own the corporations. The supremacy are the ones that own the land. Most black people don't even own land. So how are they supremacists? I'm going to ask the people that use that terminology. You're being racist. Black people can't be racist. Technically, to be racist, but to be racist, you got to control something. When racist, you got to deny something. Can black people be bigotry? Yes. Can black people be prejudiced? Yes. Well, I think some of these black people who say that, use that terminology, I need to think about that. When we say you're a black supremacist, black racist, how you gonna be a black racist when black people don't own nothing? To be racist towards other people. I can't deny, there's no black people that own Section 8 or in a position of Section 8 to say, well, we're not gonna give it to these Asians or Arabs or white people, whatever. They're not in a position to. They're not. Even their own land, own property, they won't do it. I don't understand why people say that. it comes to black people. When they start talking about something about people that look like them in the Bible, oh, you brought you extremism. So the people in the Bible who had dark pigmentation, extremism. You see the reverse psychology that they use on people when it's the truth. That you can't go. Most of the people that was out there in 120, 112, 100 degree in the desert throughout their lifetime had dark skin. They were under the sun. Different parts of the region was different part. They were 100, and then different people who had fairer skin stayed up in the northern countries. That's not prejudice. That's fact. And some of them probably did have skin cancer. The ones who have fair skin, because they couldn't be out there in that heat that long. And that's scientific fact that a certain demographic of people who's up in the sun can only be out for a certain amount of time. Or they get melanomas, cancer. There's some people that get that who are Caucasian. Fact. You don't think they would have got melanoma? They didn't call it melanoma back then, but they didn't. Who went? My next question is, who went? Why did they go down in the tombs of Egypt? And I made a video of this, and whitewashed the Egyptians and repainted the Egyptians, not to preserve the paintings, but yet they try to erase the history. And they lighten up the Egyptians. They lighten up the Hebrews. They don't look at that light. Even so one day someone will go by, and they won't leave the original paintings and the original things as the way it was. Who painted that back there in the 15th, 14th century? Was he being a black supremacist then? The people that he's the writers who saw and was given the vision from God to tell what these people look like, or were they black supremacists? Then think about that. Think about that. Why did they have that? Why? And I heard someone. Why would they take a man out of that was born in, I think, around the Roman era, made from a well-known artist named Da Vinci, and design him to picture to be the man that came to save the world? Then took the image and brought it from that century all the way up to now. Who's practicing supremacy and say you have to, and tell the people all over the world you got to bow to the image? How is it that there's certain religions, and I'm not going to say the religions, but told that Satan gave black people dark skin? There's a religion, and some people know it, that said they were dark because a certain man told them that they were dark, that they were cursed. They mean to be put to servitude. How is black people even in religion? How is black people, the darker people of the planet, superior? There's only been one man that conquered Italy. That was Hannibal the Great. That civilized even the Moors. But they didn't bring supremacy. So how we so those centuries all the way to now. But these other people, during the time of the same time of these people, brought in supremacy over different islands of people. Told them that this is what they should worship. Why is it the same? Some of the same background. These people assassinated most of the men and raped some of the women, and disemboweled the kids. Did black supremacy do that? All over the world. How are we black supremacists? How's a black man or a black woman from century then until to now are black supremacists. Let's bring it to now. So that was the history. Let's jump all the way up to now. Yeah, the NAACP, it's not a black supremacist. Not even Black Lives Matter is not a black supremacist. Who's going to fund an organization? Because Black Lives means on umbrella all people under a certain gender, a certain orientation. That's what the basis was founded on. But many people got fooled. They think that Black Lives Matter, only Black Lives Matter. That's not what it's for. Excuse me. Black people have been trying to feel like they want to include that their lives matter, because it seems like when it comes to the totem pole of America in different places, blacks are like at the low totem pole when it comes to missing. How they go ask somebody to find this discovery, if they become a victim of crime, or if they disappear, or if they get unjust accused in the system. Black people never ruled the justice system. You can find black judges, but they can't practice black supremacy. You can find a black police officer, but he can't practice black supremacy. You can find a black mayor, a black councilman, and a black committeeman. He cannot practice blacks extremism. So miss me with this. Why did and then you got some black people sit up and go up and say that? Because to be racist, that's what you had to do. You have to deny somebody loans. You have to put them on a certain scale, like the banking institution do. Put them on a certain ratings as far as different ethnic groups. As far as that, did black people create? Because that's a sense of supremacy. Black people didn't create the banking. So, black people had their own banking system, but they don't have a whole international bank to control and to dominate. Most black people don't even have the amount of wealth as far as land in this country. They might get a snippet of a land out of black people. When you have the vast majority own other ethnic groups of people owns the vast majority of property. The property that would put housing development, school development, make it to a tax base, make it to a shopping mall. How many black people don't own shopping malls? Very few. And if they do, it's probably not that many. How many black people do you know that? And if they do they ever practice black supremacy? They said, no other people can't live here. It's just only for blacks. They can't. So how is it black supremacy? Black people they couldn't even do that. If black people, just like the other racial groups I mentioned, want to have enough so they can have something to themselves, just like these other groups of people that come to America, that they willingly to help out, and that they have their own culture, they have their own business, they have their own schools, they have their own selective committee, they have their own representatives, they have their own thing. And this is what I don't understand why some black people get kind of conservative. They say that black people practice black supremacy, that they choose to want to have the same things that other people own. They have a Korean town, a German town, a Hungarian town, a Greek town. Nothing wrong with it. Different Latino communities have their own bit. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, they have their own week to month to celebrate their own culture. Why is it about no matter, even if you're from Africa, the Caribbean, and you're in this country, you have a right to celebrate who you are. You should have the right to do business and be among your own people. And I've been around different groups of people. It never bothered me that they practice supremacy. I've been around Latinos. I've been around different African groups of people, Middle Eastern group of people. I never thought to myself, they practice that's supremacy. But yet, when black folks come together and say we need to do our own thing. Oh, you practice supremacy. Wait a minute. But then again, the LGBT community is the next one that passed laws, got businesses, loans, grants, and the LGBTQ all the way up to the White House is transgender. So are they practicing LGBTQ supremacy? But yet, when black people, and anybody can be LGBTQ, of all the communities I just mentioned, anybody can be LGBTQ. In fact, there are LGBTQ in just about every community. Every people in the world is somebody who is a lesbian, gay, transgender person. So that don't even make any sense. But what is it about black people? You got to wonder yourself about that. When we ask for something, oh, it's a bother. But yet, black people are one of the fastest one to meet death. Young to very old. Fact. Whether it's by the own hand of another black person or hand of someone who works for the government. I mean, whether it's someone's a local government, which is a police officer, over a mistake. Just even seeing some civilians that get off killing black people. But yet, black people, they say that you practice supremacy. How's that practice supremacy? Well, say shut and quiet. You black people need to shut, be quiet, and let's kill you off. Don't say nothing. Wow, really? Why you got? Well, can't we get all people? Because all people, there may be a certain segment of people, but all people want their own thing. They don't mind doing as long as you contribute and making them money or help. They can use you to a certain advantage, but at the end of the day, they're gonna benefit their own. That's true. Because when I learned about being around different groups of people, sometimes they don't feel like being comfortable talking English all the time. They want to talk in their own native language. That's true. So, and it don't make them prejudiced or racist because English isn't their first language. So you can be around people who you feel you connect and relate to. That's what it's about. Majority of the time, most black people I see online, they don't come about hating on other people. They don't go to other people's channel if they're pro-black. If they're about black empowerment, they don't go to other people. If they think they can learn something from other people, but they don't, most black people who are Pan-Africanists or black from what I've heard, they don't want to deal with these other people. They don't want to have an interaction with them. It's about themselves, about their people. Just like all the other races about their people. So this is my view. This is my opinion. This is my view. But it's just funny when I hear people say that, like, well, if you black, you segregating yourself. You separating yourself. But no one says to these other people, they do the same thing. And they don't really want to be around the lower end of people. Some don't want to. Some can tolerate certain people in different parts of the United States. They don't mind other foreign groups can live around other foreign groups. But one of the groups that they probably would want to live around is African Americans. Fact. Now, do they mind getting African American money? Yes. But we think of that, we go. And I'm not saying everybody, but it's just some people are like that. because black African American black people that's from this country are liquid money. You might not understand them, they might not understand you. Only thing they learn is, and the only way they know about you is through the TV, and through majority of the time watching people on TV, on video, on the kid, on TikTok or on the computer. This is fact. But most people, black people most black people is good people. Sometimes we don't even like each other for some reason. We like another person. Sometimes we don't even like each other because, one, I don't know you. Two, we got the mentality that you don't live in the same city, grew up in the same block, and so I can't relate to you. I can't connect to you. This is among black people. It's a fact. Sometimes we don't even like each other. But there's a certain demographic that understands, as a collective, that understand, like, yeah, we need the kind of, that, then the smart ones is going to probably build up and probably leave this, some will stay here, some will leave this country. Because they understand, me dissing you or whatever, and trying to take my violence on you, and one of us take one of our family members out, it ain't gonna do no good. The smart black people, and there's some black people are smart like this in America, but they want to stay to themselves. It's like, and they want to have their own people and their own business who they can connect to, who can vibe with them. Every group of people can have their own vibe and they have their own communication. But black people, just like any other people, we kind of consider it the other people. We love other people more than we love our own self. How we black extremists when we've been conditioned is from spiritually, from Christianity and these other religions. How we black supremacists. So when I hear a black person say that, please break this down to me. Explain to me what is a black extremist and what is a black supremacist. Because I just laid the foundation. Black people never own property, discriminate against because of property, say you are a particular race and we're going to put you on a certain income level, credit level, because you're white. Black people don't do that. Black people can't tell a Hispanic, an Asian, or East Indian, or Middle Eastern person, any American person, we can't give this to you because we got you at a certain credit rating. We don't own 90% of this land in America. And then, not only that you own the land, you can own the business in the land, and then it can be a selective people community that determine who come in and who come and go in the land, in the area. You don't own, most black people don't own major corporations. They don't own the Google that can hire millions of people across the country, across the world. And then if you do see a black billionaire, millionaire, guaranteed most likely there'd be a few people that look like him, and the rest to be white and other people. Fact. So how we black? Can somebody please explain how we black supremacists? So even your black billionaires can't even be extremists, and they're not. Some of your black billionaires don't really connect with the vast majority of the black people. Fact. Maybe some millionaires do, but not billionaires, because they hit that level. So I wonder why some people say that. Being racist. How do black people being racist? You don't own no banks. Then you own the bank. You can't discriminate against somebody because handicap, their disability, their race. Even a white person can open up an account in the bank. You can't hold them back. Fact. And the black bank owner wouldn't do that anyway. We wouldn't want to put white people on no credit rating. And see that they try to get business or housing. I bet there's been some white people that went to a black bank and got loans in business housing based on their credit. Fact. Even though it was geared to the African American community. I bet there's been some Hispanics, East Asians can go to a black bank. Fact. But can a black person do that when we go to their bank? Majority of their banks or institutions at their home? Makes you wonder. Maybe once in a while, I wonder if you might let you to the door. That has to be by the grace of God. Literally by the grace of God. Because most people are geared to be a nationalist among their own people. Look out for their own before they look out for others. They never tell you that, but the majority of people of every race do it. You know, so why is when black Americans decide to do the same thing, why is that when we can say, well, to all people, but they don't say all people to themselves. The Asians said, well, we're going to help all the people, not just when they got that money from the government. They help gain people and say, we're going to put all the people. Everybody goes, after we're going to give it to the steering, we're going to give it to this, because all people, all y'all people can come to my business and prosper my community. All people can come. Yeah, all people can come, just like anybody else. But when black people have something specifically for black people, oh, you being racist. We're being segregationist. How you being segregationist when you don't own nothing to be segregated to? Because you seen some group, you see a group of men or women online practicing what their spiritual belief system is, and they happen to be all black. They believe believe in our own. We believe that's the way it is. I seen a church once. I seen a special, and I don't know if I recorded. And these people were blunt out and say that we're white people for white church. And it was like, why do you have to be for white people white church? Because and I didn't get mad. I just said that's their choice. Oh, they being racist? No. There's a good portion of white people that like to be white. What it was classified as white, classified as European. Fact. And it's nothing like, and it's like all the other groups of people want to see people that look like them in their family. Go on and go on and go on. Even if they mixed in with something, the majority of the time they'll pick someone that look like, will go on and on and on and on. But this is a fact. Do people pick out of love? Yes, they do. But most people of every human race, I don't care what group of people it is, majority go stick with their own people. I learned that no matter, even if I can look similar to an African, certain African people they stick to their own. Certain Hispanic groups sticks to their own. Not saying that they won't marry outside, but majority of the time, majority of them stick to their own. Most East Indian, Koreans, Chinese, Russians, Ukrainians stick to their own, bro. Greek, Italian, Armenian. Go on and on and on and on. Most people stick to their own. That's not prejudice. That's just the way people. That's they pride themselves. We can all be together in a country, get along. But there's some people believe we can get along, but we gotta stay separate. Separate. Now you can come in and help bring my people up with your business and your knowledge and your business, so we can prosper. But other than that, that's as far as it go. Other people, they say it with their actions. Fact. So black people choose to. When black people talk about don't have everything, they don't want. Some of them don't want it spread out. And I heard the cause, and I said I understand, because and you can love who you can pick who you want to choose, and love who you want to love, as far as having a family with, having a relationship, and having children with. The majority of them people that come out of your culture is gonna stay with the people in your culture. So a majority of your people, and this to anybody listening to this video, you know I'm telling the truth. Majority of people gonna stick. Maybe you might be okay, but if you get to run the topic and make a topic about it and make a discussion about it among your people in your own language, trust me. No matter what language you speak in this earth, trust me, most people are about their own people. Why? Because they understand the struggle. Why? Because they can relate to where they come from. They know their struggle. It could be some envious and jealousy in between. Yeah, every group. That's throughout humanity. Every person can have envious and jealousy among the human race. This is what we all got in common: envy, jealousy, malice, all that stuff. But when it comes to pride about your own heritage, that's who you are. And majority of people of whatever continent people you meet, maybe a couple might tiptoe out and have some of a different ethnic group. The majority of those people are going to be among their people. Majority of it. And so the question is, so the reason why I'm raising this up, because I heard this, there's a couple people say, I heard even some, a man of God said, I'm not, when he was teaching about, he's teaching something out of the Bible, I'm not teaching white supremacy and I'm not teaching black supremacy. I'm thinking to myself, what is black supremacy? We didn't take the religion and show it to the world. We didn't put people in chains and bondage and stuff. We didn't go to the lands and say, what did black people do? In any part in history, trying to infiltrate your belief system on somebody else. And if you don't take their belief, then you're gonna die by either you're gonna die by the gun or die by the sword. If you don't take my system, you don't believe my system is. When have you ever seen a group of black people into another country and did that? Black supremacy? Think about that, bruh. Think about that, sis. When have you ever thought about that? Why do people say that? Black people never own nothing. Can never run nothing. They can, even certain places on the continent to the Caribbean, they never run nothing. They keep them impoverished and poor. But yet they control. You got people that control their resources and their assets and their way of life, and they'll select someone that look like them to be like the house, be like the yard manager over it. They use people. So who is the real supremacist? Who is the real supremacist? I question stuff like this. Why do people say stuff like that? You practice separatism. Everybody practice separate. It's only to their benefit. Oh, I'm good. People will tell you, oh, I don't have nothing. I'm good with everybody. You cool with me? I'm good with you. I'm good with you. I'm good with you. Good with me. But then, at the same time, they ain't gonna let you come in marry in their family. They ain't gonna do. Some won't even do business with you. Fact. Unless you are practically a billionaire. But it's just something that I find is kind of intriguing. I'd like to put in this video. He's being a black supremacist. What? A black supremacist? Extremism. What? Like I said, have you ever heard any group of black people say, you know, you gonna go to the government or some entity and blow up the? No, you don't see that. You don't have, ain't too many black men know how to make a bomb and put rice in it. But Connor and Brad out there in some place in Connecticut somewhere do come in and don't see something off of a video game and take and put some rice in it up and just start because he saw something on a Warcraft and say, hey, and go and say, I don't like my teacher, and I don't like all the kids in my school, so I'm just going and launch it in there and do like a Dylan and Klebo out there in Boulder, Colorado. When's the last time you see a black man like Timothy McVeigh that blew up half because they extremist belief? Blew up half the building. They didn't give a damn. That's extremism. That's extremism. But it don't, and that's in fact, that's terrorism. But when you think of terrorism, you think of some got 10 guy over in the Middle East. No, you got homegrown terrorists that look like you, that got the same capabilities as those guys in the Middle East on this land. And this is what happened in 1995. We don't want to talk about that. That's extremism. And you still got people like that. In fact, there was a couple cases recently. They popped someone that was trying to knock out the grids. When have you ever heard 3 black guys meet in some part of a city and talk about knocking out the grids someplace in America and start a race war? I'll wait. That's extremism. Nobody want to talk about it. See, this is the two sides of America. That sometimes we have to raise the cause and cane. And do you wonder why some of our people get people that look like us? Like I said, you trying to put all the blame, make me like we the bad guy, but yet you got people actually out there designing, get mad at the government, go down, storm the Capitol because they can't handle something. The change and it's despite what the Biden did to black folks, you would think that we would have had something to do with that, but yet you had a bunch of these other people go down to the thing, and they get a slap on the hand and the wrist, and they threatened the federal government, did every statute known to mankind. Then they get a slap on the wrist. Then it caused 4 or 5 officers death. They threaten elected government officials, but they get a slap on the hand. And I'm sorry, the majority of people that said that were white guys and few white women. Sorry, they look white to me. They sure they look like people that look like us. So who is extremism? Who's the extremist? Who stormed the Capitol? Who's the extremist that blew up the building? Who's the extremist that go in these suburban go out in the suburbs where you are safe at, where you go, and some of every folks go out there and get a better education, and you get cornered He don't like it because he get picked on, whatever, just like any other kid do. He can't handle it, and he go out there and get his daddy brings him a gun like the guy up there in Michigan and shoots up the damn school. Why is this happening? It's not about it, but it has to paint an image because you don't want to tell the story, and even the media get kind of biased. That's why some people don't really pay attention to the local media. Fact. Extremists. Now, have there been kids in inner city coup, black kids that shot black kids? Yeah. Had there been kids, I said, black gangs that shot at gangs, and it just happened to be a business in the neighborhood? Yeah. Car robbery, carjacking? Yeah. But have you ever, I said, have you ever been even a couple black serial killers? Yeah. One was here in Ohio. But have you ever seen somebody get to the point that they get so mad, get with another group of men, and say, I don't have a disagreement, we go take out the grids because something about the government we don't like, local, state and local government. Whenever have you ever? Ain't too many black people done that. The last time that there was one guy that did that, they popped and put him in. He's still in prison to this day. And did this in Ohio. It was supposed to be because of some plot. But these guys that do something like that, they'll get about 5-10 years. They'll get out with some sanity plea. Under some amendment, under some, he was hyper delusionary tactics. See, when he was a little boy, but black men do something like that, bam, he's doing life. And that's what, there was one guy that did that. It was one guy that because of some extremist belief, he's still in prison to this day. But the same people that can be like a Timmy McVeigh, which is plenty of them out, because you still some of them out there to this day. They won't to. And that's why they can get a slap of wrist, get out on the law. But yet, black people are extremists. Please explain that to me. Please explain that to me. I mean, I don't know any black guy that ever made a bowl of rice and go send it through the mail because they have a disagreement with a representative of that city, that state, or that county, that judge. And yeah, a few fools that try to shoot at the judge of all nations, yes. But not to the point that they're like, these people get technical. They make bombs and rices and stuff like that. Who does that? Black extremists do that? Think about it. But it's not about race. Yes, it is. Until it really, even the people that what happened in January 6th, some of them get slapped on the wrist. They committed treason, which is probably damn near 15 to 20 years, but they get slapped on the wrist. Threaten the government. And even some representatives say, if they'd have been black, they'd have been killed. I believe that. Come on, guys, wait around. Fuck you, man. Get out of my way, copper. Sprayed the cop. Hit one guy in the head, caused him to die. No one's gonna do no time. Black man would did something like that, 8 to 20 years, it's like that. It's America. That's why we say this black justice and there's other justice. And whatever, and everybody, that said what it is that you meet this certain class, you meet this, you get justice. Some people are so bold, say, okay, how long I have to do? You got 3 years. Oh, and some people were so bold. There's one person that want to demand what kind of food that they when they get to the prison. There's the arrogance of supremacy. You violated the government. You broke the law. No, I don't think I broke the law. You broke the law. You threatened the government official. You about to do time? Oh no, there's no time. I don't think I did some time. I was just president of my Constitution. You just, but you don't threaten the official. And you definitely don't storm the office and defecate all over the walls and stuff like that. Yeah, you think, yeah. But it depends on who's breaking the law and what the person looks like. Color don't matter. Oh, yes, it does. And how much money you got. Color don't matter, James. And some people got a slap on the wrist, literally. And some did a few times, and literally these was the people that literally caused a police officer, who we hold high to the highest regardless, caused his death, caused injury and maim, and they didn't even give them a thorough freaking punishment. They gave him 3 to 5 years. Black man do something. So, ounce away, he gets 30, and he's gonna do all 30 years. Fact. Where do we control the justice system in that? Where do we write the laws in that? Were we there when he was making the Constitution? They should have left that in the bill. Color does matter. What is the color matters. It matters. Justice system matters. Money matters. You can murder somebody on tape, like Kyle Rittenhouse. You can do like what Brock Turner, witnesses rape somebody, and the judge said, "Oh, he's just a fine young man," but he raped the woman. And not only that, she screamed and yelled. There was a witness after she got raped. This was a white female. This was talk about white privilege. See, with some white people, they seeing that there's white privilege. This is what we've been talking about. That's a fine young man. He raped the woman. That's a fine young man. He shot 2 people. And it wasn't supposed to have the gun. That's a fun, but who expects extremism as a 17-year-old kid that wasn't supposed to have a gun? He's a fine young man. He's a patriot. Oh, you hallucinating. Okay. Same black kid do something, bam, 20 years. He gonna do all 20 for that murder. And what I'm saying is that murder is murder. Whoever commit the murder is murder. Whoever commit the assault is assault. Whoever commits something is wrong is wrong. Why you make it too different just based on skin? And some people, and that's the subconscious. Judges got the subconscious skin. It's in your law, they have subconscious. They try to be violence, but it's subconscious. Some judges got subconscious they just put on. In the case with that young lady got raped, that was a subconscious justice. It was pulling in his hands. This was a white female that got raped. even when they kill a person who's a law enforcement, you know about that, right? No, they're gonna do a little time, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. Black cop, 20. Do the same thing, 20 years. Same thing. Same thing. Really. We have a bias in our system, in our court system. And we got some people who are biased. They're not equally when it comes to punishment. They're not equally to evaluate the person who commits the crime. Based on ethnic. And in whether schizophrenia or whatever, bipolar, black people have the same issues. It's the same way. It's the same people, the same individual, whether they're black or they're white, probably have the same bipolar, narcissistic personality. But even when it comes down to the punishment of an individual, they'll give the both with part narcissistic personalities, raped, whatever. They'll give one and probably give the white guy about the same amount of time, let him out with parole, keep the black guy in there. In some cases, in America, then he gets out and he turns around, goes out and rapes and robs and murder again. Oh no. It has been proven. When we crime, whatever it comes down to, anybody who committed crime, it would be right. If you do the crime, you do the time, right? That goes for everybody. You threaten an official, you do the time. You do this, you do the time. But we know that has happened because there's a double standard in America, in Western world. The only one who will ever get justice is God. Had to put just people that think like Him into the earth, that don't see color, that see consequences. That's the only way you'll ever have to get justice. If someone committed a crime, it has to be someone that God has to put in. Because man have biases. The flesh of man has biases. The one who holds the dominance have the bias. The ones who rule the territories some have the biases. Because they don't play by a fair game when someone look like that. They're not going to be fair to their own. And that's what sometimes people make videos about this and put it on social media. Because it's to kind of open up your eyes on biases. And then they're telling other people who have no power, as the collective. It's like being in this country for 400 some years, escaping the slavery, coming through the Jim Crow, still don't have no power. And then they separate the ones with the ones that have the wealth. They can certain one, but the vast majority of them can't do it. Fact. And that's like I said earlier, even your black billionaires to millionaires can't never practice extremism or supremacy because that's unheard of. In fact, they probably the ones who practice it. They invited them to the club. We have one now, because we got to see one. This place is like that. And the only reason why, because they go by his skin complexion. Sometimes some of them, because he can blend in with them. In some cases, these are people that practice the buy it. I've seen it. in high places. So I just wanted to make a video about this, but it's just this would be a good topic to talk about when I hear someone, any person say that African Americans are racist or extremism or how are we racist? We don't control nothing. They keep anybody. Now can black people, African American, be prejudiced? Yes. Can black people, like any other people, can be bigotry? Yes. You can be, yeah. You can have some prejudice. Someone even you can be prejudiced somebody because of their weight, their height, their weight, their hair color, their eye color. You can be bigotry. Yeah, it can be bigotry because you don't like it because of the color of their skin. But they never have the power that can stop them from getting what they want when they're not in the majority of the land that looks like the people. And even if we were over in Africa, I see even some white people might get off over there in certain parts of Africa, rather than the black American. But that's the truth. So I would say this is that we need to stop saying that, because because as a people we on the bottom of the totem pole. No matter how much money we get, we still at the bottom of the totem pole. And even if the ones who have a little bit of power don't have all the power, they don't own all the land. They'll give them 3/4 of the land, 3/4 of the power, when they own vast majority of the power, majority of the land. And you just have to be one of the ones that was one of the smart ones, the ones that whatever talent, skill that you have that got you to the wealth, they let you in the door, but that's one. But you have to hate the other ones. You got to despise the other ones. You got to be like us, educated, sophisticated, and then you can marry into their family. Oh, but he's black. No, he's not really black. He's one of us. I learned this. You know how I know about this? Because with the town where I'm from, I was taught this when I went to the suburbs. And you would see two groups of people. You see the black people that was in the suburb, and the black people was in the city. And the ones that got in the suburb, they start count some. I see some start feeling themselves, and they could disdain to you that you don't conduct your way like them. They didn't like it because you act like them. Because they were conditioned. They've been conditioned. The suburbs conditioned them like that. Nothing wrong with living in a nice area, but when you start looking down at other people, oh, I can't believe all these Negroes move up in here. And there's some white people that be in the green. I can't believe all these black people, and there be some conditioning black people that say, I can't believe all these black people live up here either. You got some black people that hate them, unfortunately, that hate themselves. They only want to see their own people. So and a lot of white people would be shocked. Yeah, I don't like them Negroes either. There's some black people out there like that. That's why they move in them areas. Some of them move out there, and they don't make eye contact with you. They don't want to be. They've been conditioned. They've been groomed. But there's always a segment of us that have ride that wave. We know how to stay balanced. We know the reality. We don't go all the way. We be around other people, but we don't start kind of get all the way to the point you start looking down at other people because they don't come from your neck of the suburbs, the woods. And it's funny because when people say it's not about race, I said, what about that young man out there in Aurora, Colorado, that young man? He wasn't a thug. rural Colorado is a beautiful suburb. And in order for it to stay out there, you gotta have some money. But see, the police didn't care about that. Police don't care. But when you get them suburban Negroes, we think like, ew, what are these black people doing out here? And when their son and daughter go through that stuff, when they go to the next suburban town, they get a taste of it. I don't understand. Because you got to work hard, and that's it. Yeah, work hard is true. But you're going to find somebody who's always a bigot. And even though there's a certain percentage of people may like them out there, you always got that one that could be on the police force. You always got that one that's in the business. You always got that one. Can't stand. It's like, you always got that one. Oh, no, Harold, oh no, he's just. So even when we get to the suburbs, we can't be prejudiced. We be prejudiced towards our own. Fact. We don't like to see our own out there. Some of us don't like to see other black people out there. We get around there. Oh, how you doing? Yeah. Anyway, Chauncey, as I was saying, my son Connor has gone to the school. Yes, my husband worked at the local insurance company. Yes, we're going on the yacht with y'all next week. These are black folks. Get some black people like that out there. Trust me. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But you take the same black people and now put them in another suburb we went to somewhere, they would be just another Negro. They'll get treated like it too. You must think I'm like one of them inner city bombers of Columbus or like that. I'm not. I live up in Arlington. Okay. This is here in Columbus. I'm not from that east side. You got some black people like that. The condition. So they can't stand that. They might be with you. They might be. I mean, I don't have a certain degree of conservatism, but when you go all the way, bruh, come on, man. You gotta be balanced. You soft, you cool around other people because you're offended, but you go extra hard on black people. I have seen black people some people here and online act like that. They go hard. Pick them. Do something. And this is the reason why, and I don't care you da 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 da. But wait a minute. When it comes to other people, look, I don't think all of you, I'm sorry, I don't want to think all of you are like that. Why do you go so hard on your own people? And I would ask these same people, why do you act like that? And you know what it's like. Because you've been visible till you're visible. And you think it's okay to treat another person that look like you invisible? Why you can't get a chance to really know them? Now I can understand they have a certain personality. I'm getting these spam calls. I don't know what's with these people, man. I'm sorry, but anyway, yeah. As I want to say for now, but yeah, there would never be extremists. We would never won't have the power to discriminate against anybody. That's the point of this video. We can never really be racist. We don't have a room to be racist. We don't. Can prejudice? Yes. Bigotry? Yes. Racist? No. So my name is James. Until next time, you guys take it easy and be blessed. And I hope this video has been very enlightening, entertainment, and it's an eye opener and being on the real side. Take care.